Johnsburg, January 21st, 2025, regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees to order at 7:02. On the roll, Trustee Morris. Here. Trustee Hagan.
Here.
Trustee Clemstein.
Here.
Trustee Foreman.
Here.
Delighted to show that Trustee Falk is absent and Trustee
Here.
Metzger. Will we stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. From the floor, Tom.
Tom Curry, 2017 Camden Court, Johnsburg. On Saturday, January 11th at approximately 11:15, CSO Schmidt showed up on my private property and inspected my dumpster on my private property. It's interesting that Kyle Frost had a dumpster right up the street from me, much more visible from Hickory Way than mine in my cul-de-sac. His wasn't inspected on that Saturday, but mine was, so I get the feeling when it's special treatment and someone sent them to my house. So I'm curious as to what the village policy is for sending employees of the village on a private property to inspect garbage.
I can tell you what happened on that day, Tom, is I was called by a resident that there was remodeling going on in your house, at your house, okay, and there was a dumpster in the driveway. I was called while I was at breakfast on Saturday morning. I drove by your house, saw the dumpster. I asked CSO Schmidt if there was a permit. I said, you take care of it, look, and if you believe there's some remodeling going on that needs a permit, let Vinny know on Monday, and you two handle it. That's how that happened. Okay?
That's normal?
Pardon me?
That's normal?
It's normal if somebody calls that we send the CSO out to look at it.
Start pointing fingers without permits.
We're not pointing fingers at all unless somebody complains.
Yeah.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
So you ready to call it me?
Mr. Kartheiser.
Good evening, Happy New Year. I'm Tom Kartheiser, spoke before to the board here. I lead the Community Science School at Pistaki. We founded that organization in 2012. Just a few quick comments here. Back at Keith Von Omen's retirement party at Pistaki Yacht Club, Ed Hederman shared with me that he felt that, and I agree with that Johnsburg has two very historical venues and buildings. One is St. John's, and the other one is Pistaki Yacht Club. Certainly both go back even before the start of the 1900s. I wanted to share with the village board and the members of the community that are here tonight a summary of the history of Pistaki Yacht Club and the threat to its future existence. I care a lot about it because I'm a member of the Yacht Club, but I care a lot more about the Community Science School because we have been transforming children's lives since we started, and we have impacted many, many hundreds of children's lives. We put together a history of the Yacht Club, and I'd like to share a copy with each person here. You can take one and pass it around. I don't think I have enough. I knew there'd be a crowd here tonight, but I probably didn't bring enough copies. So if you could take a look at that, it's just all put together to share our story and to try to help preserve the historical Pistaki Yacht Club. Last year, about a year ago, over 50 people from the sailing school, from children to instructors to volunteers and board members, made public statements at this board appealing to the board to not take action to put the yacht club out of business, community sailing school is a nonprofit. It rents from the yacht club, and if there isn't a yacht club, there won't be a community sailing school. And yet, here we are, now about 2 years into the lawsuit and the legal proceedings. The village and the yacht club are continuing in a lengthy legal battle. That is squandering hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayers and PYC dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I just want to briefly share this. We said a lot about what the sailing school has done, but I thought about this over the last 6 months. We not only teach kids and adults how to sail and overcome their fears, but we grow some amazing young people. I put together a list of the instructors who have come up through the sailing school since 2012, who are either at this professional level that I'm going to summarize here, or in the process of becoming this professional level. These young adults are amazing citizens, and they're difference makers. So I would just like the board here and the community to realize that the community sailing school has produced a school psychologist, 3 tradesmen, a police officer, a firefighter, a civil engineer who designed solar farms, an education program manager at one of the largest sailing programs in the United States, Sail Newport, a physician's assistant, 2 nurses, a doctor of physical therapy, a neonatal physician, an international attorney, a 3D sales engineer, and a vice president of products. That is not a full list of all the people that the sailing school has grown, but that is an impressive list.
I'd like
Thank
to
you.
just say, is that all you wanted to
Yes,
say?
thank you.
Okay, thank you. No problem. Okay. Rob Bryson?
My name's Rob Bryson. I'm McHenry, Illinois, member of the Pistiki Yacht Club. I was here last time. So Scott, last time you asked me why I was here. And the simple answer is I'm here because I'm trying to save the yacht club. And and really what we do is the yacht club is here because of community leaders in the past, and we need community leaders of today to step up to help save that yacht club. So last time I was here, I asked you to read, if you'd read the repleting, to get a deeper understanding of why the variance for the yacht club is so important. And you trustees indicated that you had read that and were well informed about the dispute between at the yacht club. So based on that, I'm assuming that therefore you have read the summary judgment that was filed the Monday before the last meeting in court. So that summary judgment is asking for a ruling that both the back lot and the club property be treated as R1 single-family housing. That means the operation of the yacht club would no longer be viable at that location. I am struggling to understand how you can say you are not trying to cripple the yacht club out of existence when the village of Johnsburg is arguing in court that the property should be aligned with R1 single-family dwelling. In other words, that place is suitable for another $1 million home. I also want to talk to you about the difference between being informed and making decisions. Back in 2023, the village president sent a letter to the yacht club which included a suggestion the club seek a declaratory judgment as a path forward to resolve the dispute. Since we were unable to come to an understanding around the meaning of the variance, the club made the decision to pursue the village president's suggestion. Intended or unintended, it had the effect of putting the village board on the sideline and putting the village administration in control. The village administration is now deciding what actions to take in response to our request for a declaratory judgment. Without board voting on these matters, the following things have happened. They've filed a countersuit. They've added third parties to the suit. They've added the original property to the suit. They have sent notices of violation without recognizing the variance. In the original letter that we got from the village president, it didn't acknowledge there was a variance. Through discovery, they asked for an inspection of the septic system. They filed for a dismissal and striking of claims. They have filed for a summary judgment. They have requested discovery information about boats the village has inspected through discovery. All these actions have been taken without board approval. As you know from reading these filings, because you've told me you've read these filings are lengthy and involved. And as a result, they have delayed the resolving of this dispute and cost the taxpayers money. Each person can draw their own conclusion about this matter. But for me, they are trying to hinder the yacht club and until we are no longer in existence. So why am I here? You have the power to change the direction of this dispute. So either the village of Johnsburg can continue continue in the legal battle and run up the cost until finally we may get to a point where the judge can make a decision. So I ask you to consider what I've shared as we move forward. Thank you.
In response to that, does anybody here feel that they were uninformed of what was going on at the yacht club? Anybody on this board feel that they were uninformed and that these decisions were made without your input? Okay, I just want to make that clear because that's what Mr. Bryson is saying.
No, I didn't say
that's true. Okay. Sylvia Bryson.
Okay, my name is Sylvia Bryson. I live in McHenry. I'm a member of the Pisteki Yacht Club. One of the things that often gets repeated by the village president is that he is looking out for the best interest of the neighbors in the vicinity of the Pisteki Yacht Club. So first, let's look at the history of the neighborhood. The yacht club was founded in 1897, which I see is before the village was even incorporated. So every neighbor that lives in the neighborhood now knew the yacht club was there when they moved in. The back lot was acquired in 1970 and the boats were stored on the lot. The residents surrounding the back lot have either changed hands or were built after 1970. So all the neighbors knew that the lot was used for parking boats when they either built or bought the property. In the summer, the yacht club is a busy place and our neighbors are out and about. They frequently ask club members whether the village is still bothering the yacht club about the back lot. They often have choice words as they tell us how ridiculous they think it is and speculate about one specific neighbor being behind this. So finally, one of the neighbors went one step further and took it upon themselves to collect signatures in support of the yacht club. The letter was provided to all of the village board members. It is interesting how you talk about multiple complaints, and through this, all we have only seen is the record of one complaint by an anonymous person which contained inaccurate information about what we do and how we use the back lot. Yet you never mention the letter signed by 16 or 17 of our neighbors that support the yacht club. Now that's very interesting to me. In addition, there are many places in the village where residential neighborhoods abut areas that are not residential. Therefore, why does the village think that this is bad only in this situation with the yacht club? That makes no sense to me. One more point is that the neighbors we spoke to have not expressed any concern with the existing landscaping of the back lot. Many of them would not like us to take anything out of there or change what's there. It does not appear from our perspective you are interested in what the neighbors think. You are purporting to protect neighbors from something they do not mind having in the neighborhood. The actions by the village could result in the loss of an iconic treasure in your community. Is that really what you want? Actions speak louder than words. And your actions are against the club.
I'd like to clarify that, Mrs. Bryson, because we have said a million times, there's not one person on this board sitting up here that wants the yacht club or the sailing school to go away. We've explained that. Can you let me finish? Did I give you the time to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the truth. Okay. Now you can accept it, but not one person here wants the yacht club to go away or the sailing school. The facts are that the back lot was a junkyard.
It's not a junkyard.
It's not a junkyard now, but that's what caused the problem.
So if it's not
11 or 12 years ago, I'm sorry, Mr. Bryson,
If it's not a
we
junk-
gave you your chance to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so we helped get people in there to clean it up 11 or 12 years ago, and it turned into a junkyard. When this complaint was started, it was old boats, mildew, covers flying, sails flying all over the place, and that's what caused the problem. If it was maintained like it should have been maintained, it would have never even came up. It would have never even came up. Then, okay, they took the lot and combined 4 lots into 1 lot, okay? 4 residential lots into 1 lot. I understand to save the taxes. That's great. I'm glad they do it if they can save taxes, okay? That's great, okay? So on a residential lot, you're allowed 4 boats, okay?
There's a very-
Any kind of trailers, okay? So we started with, okay, you had 4 lots, go 4 times 4. Put 16 boats on the back lot, okay? They came and said they can't operate with 16 boats. They asked your folks, after several meetings, the first meeting was with Josh and Mark O'Malley, who was a member of the yacht club, I think, right, Josh? Okay. It was a meeting with Josh and Mark O'Malley, and we sat down and tried to work it out, okay? Then there was several other meetings with different people from the yacht club, okay? Then the yacht club asked, hey, can we sit down with your attorney, our attorney, Commodore O'Malley, Laura King, that was told to us was the vice commodore, I guess, right? Is that true? Yeah, that's what we were told. We sat down with Michael, we sat down with myself. They asked who would on the board would be the other representative from the board, and I told them Greg, and they were happy with that, okay? We sat down and made an agreement. Michael was there. It was Easter week. We went through the whole thing of things that everybody agreed on, okay? Okay, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. We left that meeting, and I asked the yacht club, do you want to write the agreement? No, but we'd like the agreement by Easter Monday because we have a meeting, okay? I looked at Tyler, the yacht club's attorney, and said, do you want to write the agreement? Let us look at it. He said, no, he does not have time. Michael, our attorney, worked on it Easter weekend, Easter Saturday, Easter Sunday, so you could have it on Monday. And it was given to you on Monday, okay? Everything in there that you guys agreed to, and your 2 representatives and your attorney agreed to, okay? The yacht club, okay? That's what happened.
No.
That's the truth, okay?
No, it's not the truth,
Okay.
not from our
You know what?
side.
Okay.
If I could, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're rebutting me, can I rebut you?
So here's why, especially in light of everyone here tonight that would still like to speak.
Right.
The yacht club maintains a certain set of circumstances. I'll call X. That we disagree. I'm not sure that a repeat of the previous meeting with the comments exchanged, and I feel like it's being reiterated again, I'm not sure this is fruitful. This exchange is never going to stop. That's why, despite the village's efforts to settle this, the village was sued.
No.
There's a difference of opinion, right,
We followed
I
your
understand.
recommendation. We followed your recommendation. We
So
didn't
I'm
sue
directing
you.
my comments to President Hederman. I'm not sure going over the settlement negotiations, as we have, they're being rejected, is going to be helpful, especially when we have this many people who would still like to speak tonight.
Well, the proof is that your last filing says that they should be considered R1, and if you consider them as R1, the yacht club ceases to exist. So your actions speak louder than your words.
We had doubled the number of boats that were allowable on those
No,
R1
we've always
lots.
been able to put as many boats as we
32
wanted
boats,
there.
as many as you wanted on the shore, And we're
32
even considering some of the parking lot.
32.
You guys walked away.
32 is less.
You walked away. You walked away.
32 is less than what we have there.
Stop pinning it on us.
And every time we come up with an agreement, you add in
Prevents the
more.
village administrator from seeing votes.
Okay, we're done
You
talking
put
about the
together
yacht club.
the agreement.
That is
We
not
have,
fact.
we think we have an agreement and you
We're
add
done
more.
talking about it.
It always comes back with more.
Yeah, all right.
You add in extra. Every time.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
Okay. All right. With that, Mr. Zimmerman, Ronald Zimmerman, you like to address the board? Mr. Zimmerman? Pardon me? It's, yeah, you filled out a form about the gas station. What? You can speak from there, Mr. Zimmerman, if you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been a resident of Johnsburg for 45 years. Okay? In fact, I was a scout leader here for many years. I came here, we moved here because we wanted a nice neighborhood, quiet neighborhood, and we got great neighbors. The gas station on the corner is, from what we've already heard from a realtor, is going to hurt our prices. Okay? Beside the fact that once you put a gas station in, it's there forever. Okay? Any doubt, just go into McHenry and look at old gas stations. They're just sitting there. My other concern is, what's going to happen to the gas station across the street? Is that going to put them out of business? Now you're going to have another thing sitting there. Okay? I understand that the school, the preschool there, does not make the requirements for a regular school. But think about it, if you have your kids or grandkids there, you want them backed up to a building where you've got gambling and liquor? I mean, you know, besides the fact you're going to have more fumes, that's not even talking about the traffic. It was really interesting because the other meetings, the company talked about their, that, you know, they had traffic studies. No, you haven't had a traffic study yet because the housing unit, which, by the way, I'm not in love with it, but people have to live someplace. It's not the end of the world. It's going to hurt traffic some. But think about this. How many units are there? How many cars you're going to have? What's the traffic going to be like? Now you're going to add a gas station in there? Not a good idea. I mean, people can't get out. If you want to go into Johnsburg off of Hamlin, good part. Now tonight I did. That's because it's so late at night. But generally, you can't make a left out of there. Sometimes you can't even make a right. You're sitting there for who knows how long before you can get out. You put a gas station in, you're not going to get out on Grant either. Because now they're all going to be turning right and going that way. I mean, beside the fact of the noise, and then the real kicker is, it's going to be 24 hours. Okay? It's in my front yard. I live on the corner of Grant and Hamlin. Okay? I mean, my neighbors who are right across the street and so on, it's next to them. And we're not talking, gas stations don't turn their lights down at night. They turn them up when you're a 24-hour unit. There are so many other places that this could be. I'm not against Kelly. I'm not against an additional gas station. I think we have enough, but okay. But not next to a residential. I don't believe there's anybody on the board that would want to be less than a block from their front door to a gas station. I can't believe that you would want to be living that way. The noise, pollution, and I know there's going to be all kinds of regulations, but guys, I see right outside my front window, people people come out of the complex, the new complex, and make a right turn, and then they make a U-turn on Johnsburg Road, which you're not supposed to do. Okay, now that's now, and that's some of the construction people. What's it gonna be when everything is full?
Okay.
And again, I'm not against the housing, I mean, I understand it. But the gas station, you're gonna have fumes, you're gonna have, they're gonna be using our water, which is, again, I guess, I'm not sure where the water is going. I know they've mentioned a couple times, but I'm concerned that it's not gonna pollute. Our air quality and our water quality is super important.
Okay.
Okay.
You had your time.
I used my
Try to
time.
go
Thank you.
5 minutes with
Appreciate it.
everybody, so everybody here gets a chance to talk. Okay?
Yep.
Mary Ann, and excuse me if I pronounce it wrong, Zinkowitz? Oh, I'm sorry, Mary Ann.
How about
but-
Sinkowitz?
Well,
Mary Ann
whatever.
Sinkowitz, Shinkevich, whichever way you want to pronounce it.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I totally agree with that guy. You know, he's brought out some really good points. I've been in Johnsburg for over 30 years. I also was a Johnsburg school bus driver. So I am a little bit invested in Johnsburg, right? So with living in Claremont Hills and everything he's brought up, I also want to bring up about the decrease in our property value. Okay? Because of the apartments, we have already gone down in value. Will our property taxes go down? What are we going to get out of this? The people who live in Claremont Hills. I get the whole tax revenue thing, and we need this money for Johnsburg. But if we're a hometown spirit, are we thinking about all of Johnsburg, or just where your tax money can do the best for what you guys want? The rest of us would like something too. So if you're going to put this gas station that we really don't need in our backyard, what are we going to get from this? Will the gas station put in sewers for all of us? Maybe they'll help offset the decrease in our value. Will they do a roundabout so we can actually get out of our subdivision?
That just came out.
What will we get? Anything? Nothing? You're taking away from us. A lot of us have lived there for years, okay? I plan on retiring there. I feel the value of my house is going to help me with that. And now you're telling me that you're taking money away from me. That's not right. I don't care what the reason is, that's not right. Unless if we get something out of this. And I know you've already heard about the traffic problems, the safety. Why do we need a 24/7 gas station? We've already said that there's so many more gas stations in the area. Why do we need it? Claremont people are not going to go in there at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning for a sandwich, for liquor, for convenience, nothing. So who are you catering to? Did I take up my 5 minutes?
Well, you're just about there.
Okay. Well, in that
I'm
case,
just
like I
trying.
said,
We're trying to get everybody in
I know.
that
So,
wants to
like-
voice their opinion, man.
like I said, property values are going down. We already had that because of the apartments. We don't want more of our house to not be our house, our value. If that's the case, I think you guys really need to think about what we get out of this. Okay, I'm done.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why is your property values going down? The apartments aren't even
Because of
fully...
the apartments.
Who?
Because of
When's
the
the last
apartments.
time your house was...
Well, okay, so part of this is based on, I was at this non-sanctioned meeting on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I guess a house on Cherokee, that they tried to sell the house and it was $40,000 less than the listing price. Also, when you look on...
Homes aren't really selling right now because of the...
Well,
One at a time, please.
So anyway, so with everything that I have researched, you know, whether it's Google, that, you know, you really can't believe Google or whatever, Zillow, everything says that there is a gas station within 800 feet of a property, your value will go down. And that's without the apartment.
800 feet, is that, what is that, a half a block? Is that a block? What's 800 feet? A mile is 5,280
Like an eighth of a mile,
feet.
eighth of a mile.
Okay. Well, still, it's like in our
So
front
how
yard.
many homes are within 800 feet of the gas station? And that's not a question for you, but
Yeah.
you guys
I
live in the
mean,
neighborhood, how many? 5, 4?
Well, I think it's going to be more than that, you know, and, you know, it's, I could even.
I'm just
run-
curious.
Okay, and it's.
But I
could run-
I just had to push back a little on that home value because this gas station's not there. The apartments aren't even barely done.
Right, but people know that the apartments are
Which are,
there.
I think,
and they're a
well done,
workforce.
beautiful
But they're
apartments.
a workforce, whatever.
Which is
you
all
call
of
it.
us in the workforce.
Right, but we don't know what kind of workforce is going to be in there. So when you see a big apartment like that, values will go down. When you see a gas station on the corner, your property values will go down. This is from
Thank you for
everything that I have read.
Thank you for that.
So-
Appreciate it.
It's from what I've read.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Heather Chapel? Mrs. Chapel?
Chapel, Chicago, go by all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I am at 3500 West Johnsburg Road. The traffic, it's a parade every day. Way past my house, pretty much at the bottom of Riverside Drive, right after the hill. So it's Logan's property, it's my property, then it's Blake's property, Cherokee. Okay? Every day, it's backed up. So by adding this gas station, it's just gonna make matters even worse. People are gonna be waiting for other people to pull out, so on and so forth. The light infringement, especially the noise, is gonna be unbearable. 24-hour gas station. Has anybody ever gone to them at 2 o'clock in the morning? Has anybody ever seen what they're delivering at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? BP gets their fuel truck. Beep, beep, beep. What about the light? I don't know, I know where a couple of these people live. From people's cars, going into your bedrooms, living rooms, kitchen. I mean, you're shaking your head no.
I have not shaken my head at all.
You did
ma'am.
shake your head.
I did not.
I'm just telling you that we have no problem with developing something. It should not be a 24-hour gas station. With the people that now are living in the apartments, they are walking through Blake's property, they are walking through Posey's property, they are eventually going to be coming across the street. Are we talking about the added value of crime at all? It's going to happen. Somebody's going to want to do something. People get desperate. It's going to happen. We implore you not to let this gas station, do not vote for the B1 going into a B2. Especially for these people that live there. If not, I would love to sit in front of your house with a speaker so that way you can hear some of these things that go on. And I'm hearing impaired. I feel I'm standing with my community and most of the community is here. And I feel that we should not make this a B2 business, the whole corner. If they wanted to do the one corner, absolutely no car wash. That's crazy. There's no need for a car wash. And with talking about the other business, why not put sanctions or something on that business at the other gas station across the street and tell them to fix it up? Make it more pretty. I mean, I know that the one over here off of May is actually building onto it. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't been in there yet. But it's about time that everyone takes a look at the whole town and not just putting money in your pockets.
Justin Morningstar?
Evening, guys. So along with previous talking speakers, I don't believe the gas station should be the entire 2 parcels of land. We already know that the one corner lot is already zoned appropriate for a gas station. So we can't really fight that right now. What we're fighting for is that second lot. 24-hour car wash, not a good idea. I used to drive a fuel truck for 6 years. I know what it takes to get in and out of a gas station, and the proposed drawing that we've seen would entail the tanker to come in off of Route 31 into the facility, do its business, and then more than likely would be coming out onto Hamlin Drive, a residential. I know they spoke about having the roads widen and all that. I'd like to see that, because I know the type of space that needs to be there for a tanker to come out safely without damaging any property, curbs, things of that nature. The other thing is why McHenry County is shutting down an entrance on Johnsburg Road. And if that's the case, because of traffic or whatnot, how much advantage will they have by leaving Hamlin Drive? Are we talking another 60, 80, 100 feet of clearance for that from that intersection? I don't see the advantages of that either. Let's see here. Yeah, basically, I'm up here to say that I'm against the gas station, also understanding that one of the lots is already zoned appropriate for a gas station or a business of that nature. So I'm not arguing that. It's the second lot with also the exit onto Hamlin.
Thank you. Sally Petke?
Beek.
Okay, Sally Beek. I apologize, ma'am.
That's all right.
You can speak from right there if you would like.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay.
I've been a resident on 3718 Claremont Road for 51 years. Our neighborhood, our subdivision, has been in existence longer than the village of Johnsburg has been. It's been a wonderful place to live and grow and stay. All I'm going to ask the members here is to make sure, before you vote, one way or the other, that you come in through our neighborhood, you come in on Hamlin, you come in on Grant roads and try to get in and out different times of the day. Just make sure that you really know what we're dealing with. And I would just like you to keep in mind, the village of Johnsburg has been a wonderful place for all of us for a very long time. And to keep intact the things that made Johnsburg that way all these years. I think that the owners of Kelly's Market would be fine if you could go around the corner and use the property of the old farmer's market, the old empty property now, where the old barn used to be, right there, just around the corner. And it would be on the outside edge of our neighborhood, which would be right on 31. And I think that would be a much more suitable location. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good advice.
Thank you. Laura Mosley?
My name is Laura Moisey, and I live at 3615 Garfield Road. I'm asking the board not to approve the zoning change at Richmond, Johnsburg, and Hamlin from B1, which is a neighborhood business, to B2. This complex will bring in a lot of noise, light, and air pollution to an area, a residential neighborhood. I understand the trustees of Johnsburg are interested in business and increasing the value, increasing revenue for the village, but it should not come at the expense of current residents. There are two main issues I see with the Kelly's Market proposal. One is all the traffic it's going to bring to the area. It is difficult to get in and out of Claremont Hills subdivision now, and this is before the 49 new families are moving into the Tuckaway homes. The second is a proposed 36-foot wide driveway on a 100% residential street. Are there any other B2 businesses in Johnsburg where the driveway is on a residential street? Maybe Sunnyside, but that's across from a park. How much traffic is going to be backed up onto that residential street? It almost seems like some of this is against some of your own zoning changes, own zoning rules, to protect the character and the stability of the residents' business and manufacturing areas, and to promote orderly and beneficial development of such area. It's not benefiting the residents, that's for sure. And to place a separate zoning district, the businesses may create noise, odors, hazards, and unsightliness, or those that may generate excessive traffic. This is going to generate excessive traffic. Does Kelly's have any experience building in residential neighborhoods? I know the one in Lake Geneva and the Huntley are nowhere near any homes. I'm curious about the bus route for the tuck-away townhomes. Where are the bus going to stop and pick up the children? Also, Johnsburg allowed for workforce housing very close to the street, and then it's going to allow this complex built so close to the people's bedrooms. Can you imagine the construction impact on all those new homes? Kelly said they're going to put up a 6-foot fence, in their words, regular vinyl. That's going to do nothing for noise abatement or privacy for the daycare. Kelly stated their standard fuel deliveries are between 6:30 a.m. and 3. Do you want the beep, beep, beeping of those trucks in a neighborhood at 6:30 in the morning? And this is for fuel. How many deliveries are going to be for the convenience store, the liquor store, the wine, beer sales, the sandwich shop, their food? It's going to be a lot of trucks every day. Kelly state their car wash is going to be 24/7. Joe and I drove out to the Kelly's Market on Huntley on Friday. Now, granted, it was a really nice day. There were 6 cars in line for the car wash when we got there, and 11 by the time we left. When the car wash exit door opened, the blow dryers were very loud. The noise registered between 90 and 95 decibels. Is that right? On the DB monitor
Decibels.
from 20 feet away. 85 is considered heavy traffic, and 91 is a pneumatic drill. I think Johnsburg has some noise ordinances, but I couldn't find them. There was music playing over loudspeakers above the gas pumps outside. It was a nice Beatles song. That registered at 75 decibels. Does the Johnsburg, are they going to have music outside? Again, we're talking about a residential neighborhood where the neighbors are very, very close. Kelly states their store will be convenient for the residents. I doubt at the prices they will. A gallon of milk was $5.39. This is compared to $2.78 at Walmart and $2.70 at Myers. Kelly states the back of their building facing the homes would be aesthetically pleasing and showed a rendering of it. But I can show you a back of the building in Huntley, and aesthetically pleasing is not what comes to mind. I would like to know how high the roofs are over the gas pumps. Even with the lights pointing down, the Huntley one seemed rather high to me. This is going to be a lot of extra artificial light pollution because it's 24 hours. I am well aware that the Village of Johnsburg wants to increase the business corridor, and I'm sorry there's no B1 business currently willing to go in there right now. But this sure doesn't seem the right fit at the right time. Please don't allow this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy Jacob?
Good evening. First of all, I made a copy of something that I pulled up under the Community Environmental Defense Services that I'd like to present, if I could, for you guys to take a look at. And this specifically talks about gas stations going into areas of residence. I am a realtor, so I can say that the statistics do show that once you put a gas station in a residential area, your property values will decrease. It's proven fact. To give you the exact amount, they didn't have that statistic, but I did check with Heartland Association of Realtors as well, and it is known that it will decrease the values. And Greg is also a realtor, and he can contest that as well.
I was just questioning
No, I'm just telling you.
why they dropped
Let's
before the
not
gas station's
scream
even
here.
there.
Yeah.
That's what I was questioning.
No, it's once the gas station is there.
Is it within the 800 feet, or is it like, how
No, it just.
big is the net?
The clarification was residential area. So
Gotcha.
it is a residential area. You got houses within, less than a half mile from it, so, yeah. So a couple things that I just wanted to mention was, like Justin said, that one lot's already zoned B2, they can go in there. We know that, okay? But safety is a big concern for me. You have the new complex that's not even full yet, and we have a hard time getting out of that neighborhood to begin with. Even before the apartments were built, we had a difficult time. They're not fully occupied yet. So I don't believe that our traffic studies show the true aspect of what's really going to happen over there. Concerns about children, that is a housing complex that's there. So there are kids there. We have kids in our neighborhood because I live in Claremont Hills. Our neighborhood has no sidewalks. Very, very dark at night. There's no street, very limited street lights. I'm afraid that someone's going to get killed, whether it be a child walking up to a convenience store after school. There's no crosswalks there on 31 and Johnsburg Road. They talked about making the intersection on Hamlin a little bit wider. Well, by doing that, that also, take a look at the apartments. Their right out is going to be adjacent almost to very, very close to Hamlin, so you know what's going to happen. They're not going to right out it, they're going to shoot across. Is Hamlin Road sturdy enough to handle those tanker trucks? In that articles I gave you, they say for the amount of gas, you're going to have a tanker truck in there every other day or so. Also, too, they mention in here that for a population of 3,000 to 6,000 people, which we are that as a village, you only need one gas station. We have 3 already. Why do we need 4?
We have 4.
Okay, why do we need another one? It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying nothing should go there. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just don't think a gas station is the right fit. Too many hazards. Yeah, they have their guidelines they have to follow for environmental purposes, but nothing is perfect anymore. We all know that. You got the health of, some of these residents that live over there are elderly. They're going to be breathing that. Mr. Zimmerman lives right there. I feel bad for them. I'm a little further in the neighborhood. The lighting and that's not going to affect me directly, but there's a lot of other things that will. The other thing, too, I wanted to mention is in the article, too, it says crime will go up 6% when you have a convenience store, gas station, whatnot in there. So that leads me to our police department. Do we have the ability to handle that crime? To educate a new police officer just for their schooling is like $6,500. You hire a new police officer, that's at least $61,000. I did the research on it. That's what it's going to cost. Can we afford that? Is this the right economical decision for that spot? I don't think it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew McDermott.
How we doing today? I think you can tell everybody's really passionate about this gas station. Let's go. I actually live across the street from Mr. Zimmerman, and I can tell you that if a lot of people are talking about the traffic and this and that, I can tell you with it being 35 down Hamlin, I can't even let my kids go out on the street. I'm barely comfortable with them being in the front yard. What did I hit? There we go. I'm barely comfortable with them being in the front yard, let alone being out on the streets. And especially with the only, I'm not sure if it's the only entrance because I wasn't at the first meeting, but having the only entrance on our road, it's going to double, triple, quadruple the traffic on that section of road. It's going to be a nightmare. I work in an environmental field, and worrying about the runoff, because there's going to be gas spills, there's going to be, soap, detergents, whatever else is going in through the car wash. I'm sure that they have excellent ways to, help mitigate, what's lost, but not all of it. So where's that going? Is it going in our sewers? Is it going to be getting run through? I don't know. Having only been here for 5 years, Johnsburg is a great place. Me and my family would love it. I would just hate to see this whole neighborhood basically alienated, by this decision. And
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I entertain a motion and a second for the omnibus agenda? Motion by trustee Morris, second.
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Foreman. Discussion on the motion.
Could we pull the disbursements real quick?
Pardon me?
Could we pull the disbursements real quick?
All of them?
Just one is all I would say. Question.
Okay, which one do you want to pull?
The pavement solutions one for the non-highway vehicle paths. What was that? That was up by the school? That was the work that we did by the school? The blacktop, yeah, for pavement solutions for the non-highway vehicle paths.
By the school?
Off of Ernest?
Oh, okay. It was repair work by Shiloh.
Okay, so it was to
It was the...
shore up that blacktop that's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the, where you go down the end of the road there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that was. Thanks.
Didn't do anything with the fence, right? I know that fence has always been there.
The fence was modified a little bit.
Okay, that's all I have. Just curious. Thank you.
Anybody else? Want to pull anything? There being none, on the roll, trustee Morris? Aye. Hagan?
Aye.
Clemstein? Aye. Foreman?
Aye.
And Letzger?
Aye.
Motion carried. Committee report appointments, I don't have any yet. Oh, yes, I do, I have one. Jessica Johnson to the D&G committee, and Mr. Doyle will be retiring after, I think,
He has retired.
yeah, after probably since the start of the village. Well, he's been on there, so he's ready.
Yeah, thank you to Dick Doyle. I don't know.
Official certificate or
Yeah, we
anything
should
for him?
recognize him in some way.
Yeah, we will recognize him.
Correct.
We'll do something for him. Oh, Susie. Okay. New business, I think we'll go on to the village board, first read, no action. Okay. This is for ordinance 24-25-27. An ordinance rezoning the property commonly known as 3614 West Johnsburg Road from the Village of Johnsburg B1 Business District to Village of Johnsburg B2 Business District, and granting a special use permit for a planned development to accommodate a convenience store featuring a restaurant, car wash, and fuel sales for the properties commonly known as 3614 West Johnsburg Road and 3602 North Richmond Road in the Village of Johnsburg. I want to explained everything that we never take action on this at this meeting. This is a first read. We let the petitioners present what they are proposing. Everybody educates themselves of what has happened at the planning and zoning meetings. It gets approved at the next meeting, approved or not approved, whatever happens. So it's not going to be voted on tonight. The petitioners are going to explain to the board, do a little presentation, and I'm sure they're listening to everybody's concerns just like the board is. So, gentlemen? Yes, ma'am?
When will the next meeting, when you plan to approve or disapprove?
The next meeting will be the first week.
It's February.
February, which will be February 4th.
Thank you.
Tuesday, February 4th.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Carl Eklund. I'm an attorney for Kelly Williams and Company. I'm going to initially here just to kind of introduce who we've got here and let them hear from them rather than hearing from me and most of this. So we've got Cliff Morris, who's president of Kelly Williams and Company, and Suzanne Dorsey-Sterling, who works in operations for the stores and so forth for Kelly Williams and Company, and then Ryan Swanson with Art Design Resources, that is the engineering firm that's working on this project, and Ryan's project engineer for this. So I think we'll start with Ryan and kind of going through the slides with you, some information, and Cliff will have some words to say as well, and then we'll all go to questions and answers.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody's time tonight. My name is Ryan Swanson, as Carl mentioned. I'm with Art Design Resources out of Loves Park, with the project engineer for this project. So kind of what I want to do is just briefly focus on kind of how the project has evolved over the last several months. Kind of describe some changes and things that we've made. Working with both the village, the county, IDOT, hearing some of the neighbors' concerns, residents' concerns as well. The overall site plan hasn't changed significantly. Essentially, a convenience store here, canopy, typical fuel gasoline dispensers under canopy here, one position for a smaller diesel, and then the car wash. 2 access points are proposed, a right-in, right-out on 31 that has been conceptually approved by IDOT, and an access point on Hamlin Drive. One of the things that, as we kind of start working on the project, county codes require a certain right-of-way width for their routes. So this half right-of-way resulted in this kind of blue shaded area here, about 20 feet more right-of-way we have to dedicate basically for free to the county. So that's right now it'd be a large amount of green space, but it allows for expansion of the roadway in the future as the county were to work with IDOT on any improvements at the intersection. So that was up front, an adjustment we made. This also contains sidewalk along the frontages. There's really no other sidewalk out in this vicinity. However, as things grow or redevelop, there'll be connectivity to the site. So it runs along 31, Johnsburg Road, and Hamlin, really all 3 sides. So quite a bit of sidewalk is going to be proposed. One question that's come up regarding the traffic, I'll just brush on this since I'm looking at the site plan. The traffic study did include every use around here. It got updated traffic counts, and it did include the workforce development across the street. Now, that's obviously not fully open yet or fully leased out yet or whatever. However, the traffic consultant did add traffic to account for that. So they added projected trips. It's the same consultant that did the study before, which we intentionally used. My firm also does traffic studies. I've done them for the last 30 years in multiple states for big box retailers, and the traffic consultant we used is top-notch in this area. Extensive experience in Cook and the Collier counties. So we felt comfortable using them, especially with the history they had here. I think it was a good arrangement. One thing that's been discussed is why can't we get a cut along here? Believe me, I would love to. However, there's no, I will say no state agency in the Midwest or county agency specifically in the Collier counties that will allow this because of the fact that you've got turn lanes in here. You've got storage lanes, you've got tapers throughout this entire segment. For safety purposes, they will not let a driveway go right in the middle here. This gas station is an example of old, it's been there for a while. It's got older driveways. IDOT and the county have not closed those. That's why you see kind of those are still there. However, anything new would never be approved like that. It's just way too close to the intersection. Hence, it's a Hamlin.
So real quick, I don't mean to stop. This traffic study, what was the date on this?
It's just months ago, October 24th.
Of 2020?
24. Yep, 2024. And it was, like I said, completely accounts were performed and trips were added for that use there, which I don't think at that point was even, construction was finished. But it was taken into consideration amongst all the other uses, the gas station across the street, all the traffic. So when they looked at AM and PM peaks, they found basically the counts were done longer than you need to make sure you've got those peak hours included. So that was done, which is standard practice. So they followed all the standard practices for a traffic study, and like I said, it worked to have them have a history of the site too. But that's the reason why there would never be any kind of cut through here. Like I said, whether in McHenry, DuPage, Lake, and we've done several projects in those counties as well, and it's all consistent. There's just too much conflict and turning movements within this. Even if Hamlin wasn't here, if it was further down, for example, there's still too much queuing and stacking and churning in this zone. So I wanted to brush on that because it has been asked a few times, and that's the reason. It's primarily safety concerns. This is a little bit zoomed in, and another thing that's involved because of the traffic study is the widening of Hamlin. Not just the widening of it, but also the reconstruction of it. This will be completely reconstructed to roughly our property line to the north to allow for any heavier vehicles, the turning movements that will be using this driveway. So it'll be a lot thicker pavement section that's out there. I've been out here and the street is not in great shape today, but this will all be completely redone, basically down to its base. This shows just the maximum amount of stacking. This is not what's anticipated to stack here. It's shorter than this and here, but just enough to show there is space for 6 vehicles to sit here if needed. The other portion of this that's more important probably than the reconstruction is the widening, and we're proposing to add basically widen the entire segment here with a left and a right out. So the right out will allow vehicles to flow through here if a left is sitting here waiting to turn out. All of the widening is proposed along the west side on our side in terms of right-of-way dedication. This existing edge of pavement here, this is Mr. Flores lives here, that will stay the same. So all the widening and drainage improvements, everything will be done on the west side of Hamlin. And this right-of-way matches up. Another component of the study was a requirement of turn lane. The length of this may get longer just to allow for more stacking. We're still working on that with the county, but that will be constructed as well with this project. The right-of-way is sufficient through here. It matches closely to ours. This was part of a position years ago by the village, basically to allow some drainage improvements that are already here. We'll just be expanding those along with the turn lane. We also took a look at the neighbors, the closest neighbors behind us. So really these two, I Can, and this property here, and looked at a couple sight lines. So standing in this yard here, the daycare, we looked to see what they would look at, and then we really kind of reconfigured this area behind the store. So what you'd be looking at if somebody was standing here in this yard, basically we're proposing some existing fence that's going to stay, provides a good, I think, delineation of the property line, and also allows us to make sure we can know exactly where to pick up garbage, mow, trim, things like that. So we're leaving that in place and then adding more vegetation, evergreens, and then a new 6-foot fence that's been mentioned. The resulting view, and this is an elevation that shows the building. So primarily, you're going to be looking at architectural and shingled roof. These are arborvitaes and various evergreens, are shown at about 3 to 5 years. The anticipation is about 10 to 12. They would grow up in height, grow together, and they grow about this building height here. So these are shown conservatively to make sure, we're not going to screen this whole thing from day one, but the ultimate goal will be to screen this instead of a kind of a fence here. You're looking at more of a green wall through here.
And does that slope, is that the actual grade that we're looking at there?
Correct. As best we can. Really what happens is the slope here at 31, it falls pretty good as you get down to Hamlin. So this is representative of that, to a certain scale at least. And then you can see, just to point out here, there's a start of a retaining wall. It kind of starts here, and it continues down to the next property here. This is taken from the corner of his house, looking out through here towards the car wash. This, you can see kind of the grade difference. Again, here is due to the grade on Hamlin. As you come down here, we're coming downhill. So you can see a pretty good grade difference from standing here, looking up. So the resulting view is essentially the car wash would be blocked from view, and then there's the other canopy here. That's also blocked from view. The building would be seen just because of its taller height, but our goal is to block those two structures from this neighbor. Same thing here with the existing chain link. You can see this wall, retaining wall here in the fence. Same thing with the green, the vegetation. It's meant to grow together and grow to the top of this fence in 10 years or so. We did extend this retaining wall. It wasn't needed, but we extended it down to further block the car wash that was in here. We started the wall down. You can see just the corner of the car wash, so it wasn't that much more to extend the wall to further block that in its entirety.
So those arborvitaes, when they're first planted, they're going to be at what height?
About 6 feet.
6 feet.
Correct. And you can get, sometimes you can get a little more. 6 is a good happy medium to, when you plant them, they'll start growing faster. You can get them probably 7 or so, but they'll be stunted for a little bit longer. So my landscape architect looked at that, and that was kind of the best starting point we felt. But they will grow together. And this, again, this is about 6 feet here shown. The other component we just recently added was this here, little area here. And I'll mention this has not been approved yet. I met with the landowner Friday to propose this, what I'm about to show here. So he's not approved this yet, but we're working on a landscape screen here to allow for further screening of headlights. This is kind of an area, and he's got a maple tree in here with a circular drive. We're proposing basically trying to create a landscape bed in here, keeping the tree, and then adding some medium-sized evergreen shrubs through here and some deciduous in the front, some coloration in the back, trying to make it look nice. Again, he's not approved this. This is
That's for the homeowner where you pull out of the drive?
correct.
Taking a right.
On Hamlin.
You should take a right, go Whitesmith.
That's right. Yeah, so as you come down, now his garage is here, his driveway is here, so the majority of this, you're coming downhill as well, so headlights are really shining on Hamlin. The thought was as you're turning right, there could be some wash, into his windows here, so that's why we tried to block this. For the most part, the grade helps us here because you're going right downhill, so the headlights will be shining right at Hamlin. But as you turn, there would be some shining in. So we looked at this. Here's the main windows. We were looking to screen kind of these two. This is the kitchen, I believe, and this is the main family room area, living room.
So would it be on the right side of that driveway or the left side?
It'd actually be both. So this kind of depicts
magic.
And this is a little cartoony. I apologize. It's not hyper accurate for photorealism, but this is kind of representative of what you'd see for the medium-sized shrubs. We staggered these two to try to provide some immediate benefit, even though they won't be full size. But this is really what we're trying to go for. So not just a screen of evergreen. We're trying to add some color and something nice that he can look nice at. We'll work with him on whatever bedding he wants or mulch, things like that. Like I said, he's not approved this yet. We just proposed this, so we're still open for ideas if you want something a little different, we're open to that. So. I think that's pretty much it, Carl. I think I want to hit on. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take those as well.
I have a couple for you. Sidewalk, going north on Hamlin and north on 31, they just kind of dead end, going nowhere.
Correct. Today.
Today, is that something that the petitioner or would think about going a little farther north to?
If there's a place to tie it in.
That's what I'm looking at. It just seems like you're running a sidewalk to nowhere.
It is, and I was standing here too. I met with this landowner, and it's not a great situation, to be honest with you, because you've got a rural section through this road, this neighborhood, where you've got basically a street with ditches, no sidewalk. We can do something to, I guess, terminate it in some way that may make sense, maybe over here as well, but it's a little challenging, just because that's correct, there's just no walk out there.
And going north on 31, that's a right-handed deceleration lane coming off?
Thank you. Yeah, that was also, I forgot to mention that. That was also added with IDOT's comments coming back. So as you're headed north, you'll be able to plow that through lane and turn right there. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Okay. That is added as well.
And on that too, Ryan, how far is the distance from the preschool right there to the turnout access radius? Right there. So if you're going northbound on 31, yep. So if you're going northbound there, so I see your decel lane coming on 31 there and make a right-hand turn in, right? Yep. So I understand that. Now going to go northbound where the traffic's going at least 50 miles an hour if it's green light. Is that enough time and speed to get up there? And plus, that would be the question, how close you are to their property too as well.
So how close this is to here roughly?
Yeah, you're right. You're like 20 feet maybe, right, or so?
That's more about 60 to the building.
To the building, but to their property line?
Right here. Yeah, the radius terminates about 3 feet to the line itself, and that's a requirement of IDOT. You can't encroach beyond the property line.
I understand.
But yeah, it's tight. That right here, yeah, I misunderstood your question. That's
that's great.
That's about 20, 25, that green space there, yeah.
Sir, another question. Does Mr. Zimmerman in there, it pointed out this is a 24/7 proposed?
At this point, that's what's, yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the people here, the two biggest things are a traffic pattern that can make work, and the 24/7 seems to be a pebble in the boot there. And I don't know if that was set in stone, or if that's something that would be talked about or looked at.
Typically, we open our location with the 24-hour with the preference of a 24-hour site, and then we take in consideration as the business is there. Is it really? Is there a need to have it open? Is there enough, flow coming in and out of the store late at night to do that, to sustain that?
So that's just basically business dependent, Lance. If you're not getting sales after 1 a.m., you're going to shorten your time too. This just seems, majority of the people here, that's a real point. Hamlin, I do have some, as anybody here will tell you, trying to get left and right out of there is always going to be a challenge. I like the way it looks now. I think that would help with that left turn lane. That will help. The screening looks a lot better than the original, what you did there, because I think that was a big thing. That's why I asked you about the height. I just didn't want 2 footers in there and in 8 years it'll cover it.
Right.
These people don't want to wait that long.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was always a big thing there.
And we can look at...
And the car wash too. That was another thing I had people ask me about. Is that a set in stone, that car wash? Is that something?
I think, again, the consideration for us is to be, a responsible partner in the community first.
And I guess what I mean with a car wash, the original proposed was 24/7 for the buildings, fuel, things like that, which your convenience store. Would the car wash run at a 24/7?
Yes.
So is that something on the table that could be?
It could be, and I'll tell you, in response to some of the comments that went on, we went to the manufacturer of the car wash, who's Premier. They did a decibel study for us. There is 4 15 horsepower motors in there. The decibel level is 60 decibels. At the end of the day, that equates to moderate conversation. A lot of that noise is going to be captured within the walls of that car wash as you exit. So, I mean, I know there's conflicting stories to that. That's exactly what we've been given by the manufacturer of that car wash, and we can provide that to the village.
Okay. No, that just seems like another sticking point here.
It's when the doors are closed, it's not when the doors are open.
I'm sorry?
It's when the doors are closed, it's quiet. It's not when the doors are open.
Oh, when the vehicle exits the wash.
The dryer still set back within the car wash.
Is that car wash similar to your Kelly's Market and Belvedere? I'm trying to think what street it is. Kitty
Morgan
corner
Avenue?
from the BP station, same car wash, door goes up, you drive through. Is that very similar to that?
It is similar, except for this car wash is a newer version, which is more efficient, and it's obviously not as loud.
And a lot of that water, I would assume, is recycled?
Reclaimed, yeah, reclaimed.
You guys have an estimate of your average daily vehicles that'll come through?
Car wash?
Do you have an estimate of the number of cars just generally that will come through the property?
The gas station, everything.
I would say, wouldn't that be the same amount of cars that are going by there now?
Ryan, what was your study too?
When you really think
No, I'm saying going into the property and visiting the...
People aren't going to drive 10 miles to go there. There's another gas station. It's probably the same amount of cars and traffic that is on that road now.
And actually, as they get off, it will eliminate or alleviate some of the traffic flow, obviously coming in and doing the things that they need to, whether it be convenience, restaurant, or fueling. And I would beg to differ. We're not a gas station. We're a convenience store that offers fueling, and there's a significant difference to that. And I'll make some comments about that here after Ryan's done.
But we're not really questioning. Are we done? Are you guys done with your?
I have a question, so just on the drawing, I know you probably, Ryan, would know it.
I can answer the traffic question too.
Oh, yeah, what's traffic?
So these are trips basically in and out, and these are during peak hours. So I can get daily traffic, I can convert that, but right here in front of me quick. We're basically looking at 97 in and 97 out, and that's new trips. So basically what IDOT and others allow is a 60% pass by. So a lot of fuel stations, you're grabbing traffic off existing traffic. So really what you're changing is turning movements to some degree. People coming in and out where they don't normally just go straight. For example, somebody heading back to Wisconsin, they're heading north, they're going to go in the right and right out and head back north. That's not a new trip. I would contend 60% is relatively low. I think the agencies agree that's conservative, but it leads to a more conservative study too, so that's fine. But that's kind of what we're looking at for the peak hour.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's, I understand that the traffic is going to be there regardless, but it's, if these residents are saying, they're concerned about the traffic coming through their neighborhood, that's going to be that.
Correct.
They're concerned about.
Yeah.
You said it's an incline, so when it rains heavy, where's all the water going to go? It's going to go right to handle, correct?
That's, I didn't really touch on that, but our stormwater, a lot of the stormwater essentially runs from north to south here, and just in a general statement. We're going to have an underground detention system that will meet, village code, village and county codes. That'll be, you can't even see it here, but basically it's all underground vaults that'll meet the requirements so that,
I think everything from the high point is, where the water tower is, that's the high point of that area. Everything else runs to the south, not to the north.
Yeah. We'll have inlets on the curb. Everything will run in the inlets and be captured on site into that system.
So there shouldn't be water spilling out onto Hampton.
Correct. That's right.
Dumpsters are going where?
Yeah, where's the trash capacity going to be kept?
Trash enclosure is right here.
Got it, okay.
It's fully enclosed with these.
How many feet from that house is
This is board discussion at this point, ma'am. So let the board ask the questions. That's where we're at. We let you folks all comment. Okay. We let you guys all comment, and now we're trying to, take all your comments and look at the presentation of what's there. Okay. So at this point, it's really the board discussion. It isn't open to public discussion. That's why we asked for your comment when we started, because we could have people change directions a million times. We study what planning and zoning did. We look through that. That's why we don't pass it right away. Now we're discussing this. Well, there's many times when we wake up at 2 in the morning and things come to our head what we forgot to ask. That's why we come back in 2 weeks and try to make a decision. Okay, so that's what we're trying to get right now. Greg, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. So I saw there's some flat roofs. I apologize, I went through the packet. Where would be like the HVAC systems on the buildings and stuff like that, in the car wash, and then also is in the back of the building, or you gonna have it on top? I didn't see any screening on the front. It's in the architectural drawings you guys gave. So I'm just curious.
No, that's perfectly fine. So this, the HVAC units are on the back here.
Okay.
They're screened by the fence on the ground. There is some mechanicals up here that are further screened by these screen walls, and they're recessed into that hip rope. That's that. The trash enclosure too this shows it decent up close. It's fully enclosed with gates. This shows appropriate pavement, but then there's also another fence behind it. So Kelly Williamson takes trash and trash pickup very seriously, but it would be completely contained within that system. To answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that like around the trash, just out of curiosity, is that like a decorative block enclosure with gates? I'm just curious, I've seen some trash enclosures where they start out looking nice, but they end up looking sort of bad, and I'm just wondering, is that
Fencing or is it block?
Is it a block?
I believe it's a material that complements the building materials.
Okay, I'm just curious, because a lot of them you see look great, and a lot of them don't.
So, Ed, you're asking if it's like a solid versus just a fence or something like that wouldn't be architecture, piece of concrete or stone or something like that.
I can address that. Currently, the plan is to have it would be a three-sided from the, I don't know for sure the height of it, but it goes all the way down to the ground with brick, and then the doors that open to the
But it's
front.
a brick or concrete
Correct.
block, decorative block. type.
Correct.
Yeah, it complements the building.
That complements the building.
Back to the picture on the rear of the building. Will those be high-intensity lights lining the back of the building?
No, really all there is, just for security purposes, it's the lights. I think there's just a few that are under this soffit here. That's all there is. The ones on the front that are projected, there's a couple on the side, each side, and then a few on the front. But in the back here is just under that soffit.
Lights, usually the lights now are shaded enough that they can't infringe.
There is, it's downlighting, yeah, LED downlighting.
So they're shaded and they don't project on the other property.
Correct.
An eyebrow is what we,
Okay, I'm just, want to make sure that they're not lighting up the neighbors' windows.
We are too.
And they're full cutoff fixtures. The LED are a lot easier to program. Even under the canopy, they're contained really tight under these canopy limits. And they're not like what you see at Walmart. They're about half the height, just on average.
And then at this point, you're still waiting for approval from IDOT and MCDOT?
That's correct. We're working with both agencies now. MCDOT's under review, a little more detailed review now, and then we'll get back to both with submittals.
Do you have any idea what could change when they come through with approval? Because I know with the townhomes across the street, what we approved on, or what we looked at in those original plans was left turn lanes that ended up being right in, right out only.
Right.
For MCDOT and IDOT, so.
Fair question. This I think is pretty solid. Usually when IDOT gives us a conceptual review, it hasn't changed. I can't think of a time it has. This could change. What I would anticipate is this probably getting a little longer to allow those folks to turn right in the event that this left turn queue onto 31 backs up enough. I could see them wanting that a little longer. Right now I don't anticipate this geometry changing at this point. But again, it's up to your review.
Has McHenry County looked at all or has been, that subject been broached about having a sidewalk, or a crossing? That a lady brought up, there was a concern about with the workforce housing on the south end there. Was there ever any talk?
Like a crosswalk?
So-
Not as of yet, no. It could still come up, though.
You know, they have these, we have them in the village now, where you hit buttons and lights flash and people can cross.
Oh, yeah, like head crossing, pedestrian crossing.
Yeah.
Not at this point, but it still could come up. But it hasn't yet.
Is pedestrian a piece of the traffic analysis, or is it all just cars?
Typically, they also look at pedestrians, because especially if you have existing crossings, they have to make sure the timing of the lights are correct, long enough for people to cross. Here, they recorded no pedestrians out there, so.
And that's a question I have for the people on Hamlin right now. Who dictates the timing of the lights on that intersection? Tim, maybe that's a question for you.
The state does, right? The state.
What needs to transpire to change the timing of the lights? Do we have any power in giving us more?
No, you have no authority on either leg. McHenry County DOT has jurisdiction on that leg where Hamlin comes on, and IDOT controls the intersection. And the state route takes precedent, the main line takes precedent to keep it moving.
Follow-up question, what kind of traffic load would trigger an improvement to that intersection?
You'd have to ask IDOT.
They have parameters for that.
They do. And it currently doesn't meet the parameters at this time to expand it.
Just because of volume?
Yep. But
How do we find that information? What's the...
Because we trim it down from Running Brook, obviously, we're going from 4 down into 2 pretty quick, and it backs up into where I live off of Remington there. So Running Brook's obviously controlled by IDOT as well, I'm guessing, right? Because that's around 31. So they're controlling both of them. My attorney brother back in the day would do studies, metro studies, actually do studies, make sure that they could tell the lights what time they should turn, whatever. I don't know if there's anything ever been done on that, you know what I mean? But obviously we're seeing backup during certain parts of the day.
Bay Road.
The lights are all interconnected through McHenry from Blake to Diamond Drive to Running Brook Farm to Route 31. They're all interconnected. The main line takes precedent. So when a car triggers off the side street, it tells it there's a car there. Another 30 or 45 seconds goes, and then it allows the side streets to clear for under a minute, and then the main line gets precedent again.
It's just weird because it all seems like from the township side that takes longer than this one to do a left and it backs it up. That's just my, I could be wrong on that, I don't know, but I live over here, so I kind of know that.
That's what I'm saying, and we have no control over that at all. Could we appeal to?
You can appeal to them.
Right.
And that is your option. And Claudette and I have talked about that for a while, about from the village limits through beyond Pioneer, to just ask those very questions. We've asked it when Walmart went in. We asked it when Remington Grove went in. We've asked it when workforce housing went in. And we're going to continue to ask if the timing can be adjusted and other improvements can be made, whether or not this goes in.
Thank you.
Do you have an estimated date when you'll get word back from IDOT and RICTA?
No, we're probably several months away. Not several months, a few months away, my guess. Certainly for IDOT. I think that's generally faster.
Yeah.
Much faster.
And then is there any way that we can calculate the revenue impacts of this for us, for the village?
Cliff is going to speak, he'll speak to that.
Okay.
Are you done presenting?
That's all I had. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I have some other questions too.
Okay. Do you have questions, Bill?
I do. And I just want to throw this out to the Claremont people, and I know I probably shouldn't do that, but I've been doing a lot of just observational driving up and down And I've yet to see a car on Hamlin, so I'm wondering, what's the worst time of day to get in and out of there? Can somebody,
4 to 6 o'clock at night.
Ms. Cote?
New lesson, that's fine. It's more like right after school.
School hours, 3 to...
Regular workforce hours, so 9 to 5.
Okay.
6 in the morning. I mean, the chunk of the day, no, because people are at work.
Right.
It's between,
So it's
between like 2
congregated.
and 6 at night.
Yeah, 4 to 6.
You know, and I will say, being on Cherokee, that's the same. We don't have as many, but it's impossible to get into those subdivisions at that time because everyone else is coming up Johnsburg Road. You can't get into our subdivision as it is.
Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays, they back up big time.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the weekends are heavy, but, you know, it's chunked of time. Now, as far as your traffic study, informal or whatever it is, what type of traffic are you more congregated at those same times? Are you more impulses throughout the day? I'm just trying to visualize the busy time for this neighborhood and then overlay the expectation of your business. Do they coincide? Are they spread out more evenly throughout the day? I'm just trying to visualize both of these situations.
The study looks at the peak hours of basically adjacent street traffic, because that's the worst case condition. I don't know if there's any other ebbs and flows that you guys have during the day, or the peak times it might be like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or anything like that, but.
I think for us as a business, it's going to be during peak times as well. People stop and get their fuel on their way to work and get a cup of coffee or whatever, and then home they may stop to fuel, heading out to, grab whatever they want.
That's why they say gas stations don't, all the traffic isn't new traffic, it's a lot of traffic that's already
Right,
there.
existing traffic.
Can I ask about the traffic impact with I Am, I Can? It's the same topic. So when parents are pulling out of I Am, I Can.
Well, those are probably those same hours, right?
With
Drop
their
off in the morning.
children. Right.
But are they, since you, I will bring that up for you, because you're not really supposed to be speaking right now. So I'm going to ask you guys, do people come down Hamlin to drop off at I Am, I Can, or do they take?
And they use it as a cut through.
Yeah.
Or even race to 31.
Yeah, I love walking my dogs.
And how many of you use the other exit?
It's impossible to make a left-hand turn on the 31.
Right.
Only to go north.
Yeah.
And just go north on it, right?
And it's nearly impossible
Curve makes it harder
to
to
do
go
the
right.
same going around Johnsburg.
I've just a couple more. Have you guys considered another location in Johnsburg at all? What appeals, why are you drawn to that intersection?
It's a great corridor, and traffic to main corridor.
You've done enough studies to know there's...
Yeah, I mean, there's right and wrong
enough cars
places to
there.
build.
And you're not worried about the right in, right out only? You don't think that's enough of an impediment to...
On to 31.
I'm sorry to clarify, and I apologize. Hamlin was also used by some motorists as a right turn lane to get to 31. Because when that traffic is backed up to Hamlin, most of the people are making a left onto 31 going south. And those that are trying to get to go north, it's always not backed up. And so
Could we put
the
speed
safety
bumps
is
in your
going maybe
neighborhood?
right and around.
I'm a big fan of speed bumps, personally. I think it's a great deterrent. You're like, no way?
I don't think this, where do you think about putting the speed bumps?
Just to deter traffic through your neighborhood.
But it's only that first section though.
Yeah, it's the-
What they're doing is, they can't, the traffic's so backed up onto Johnsburg Road, people making a left onto 31. What's happening is the people that want to go north are cutting through on Hamlin to Grant.
Silly gooses.
Take a left on Grant and then right
You got a
after.
booby trap over there, come
So I
on.
don't know that a speed bump would stop that. Yeah.
It slows people down and deters it. When I travel on speed bump roads, it's like, I'm never driving this way again.
Not
It works for me.
Not when you're backed up on Johnsburg Road.
Okay, Beth, do you have more questions?
I probably do, but I will.
Well, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
just have, I have a list.
Let us all think about it for a couple of weeks.
I do want to talk about the fence that you guys have planned, 6 foot tall. Is it that plastic fencing? What is the material for
Yeah.
that?
Basically, it's the low maintenance, PVC.
Does it stay intact?
Yeah, it's not like, it'll be a high quality version of that. There's different versions you can get. It's trying to be low maintenance so it looks nice for a long time versus wood that you've got to treat, stain, whatever.
They
So
look
that's
great at the beginning, but
At some point, it will need to be cleaned, pressure washed, things like that, but
pieces fall out.
yeah, no, this is not meant to be that.
This isn't like that.
And it would be obviously subject to village code, and just like the landscaping to get replaced if it gets damaged, same thing there, but no, it's meant to be high quality. And these aren't cheap fences. It's definitely more expensive than any wood fence.
Okay, and it's going to run the whole length of the property owners.
Two lots. Basically.
It's going all the way down to Hamlin, right?
All the way, yep, right away to right away.
So are those arborvitaes on both sides, all the way down to, or is it just there?
All along here, and then it drops down. These are a little bit shorter.
And that's
here,
where the
and then it's-
retaining wall starts?
Retaining wall starts about here, and then runs the length here, and it stops about here. And then, yeah, there's more arborvitaes here. Again, mostly trying to screen views from buildings.
So, but those arborvitaes are going along the retaining wall also?
Correct. A portion of it, yep. That's correct. And there's room back there on both sides, both on this segment and this segment.
That's a good question. So I agree. So when somebody pulls in the parking space, where their lights go right into the gentleman's property right there?
Right here?
Yep.
They hit the fence.
They hit the fence, so they won't go above the fence. They'll be
Correct. The fence is on top of the wall.
This yard's below it too.
The fence is, and it serves two purposes. One for safety, so you can't walk, go over the wall.
Drive through,
Yeah, and then also screens and lights.
Thank you.
I have one other question, I think. How does this lot size compare to your other properties?
They vary, I think, across the board. Some are bigger lot sizes, Huntley's bigger, but this is comparable in terms of overall acreage, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. And this,
Is that pork chop, or whatever you call it, your exit up there, is that to scale?
yes.
That looks weird to me.
It does look weird. They usually do. They're meant to channelize traffic to where you're not. And this one here you can vaguely see, this was brought in from their drawings. But again, it's meant to channelize traffic to discourage left outs. Same thing here, it's meant to discourage that. It is typically, we propose a mountable curb in here so it's visible, but if a truck were to roll over it, it's not going to do any damage, or a car can do it too. But it's meant to be highly visible and still mountable in case something happens. But yeah, they're really customized per every driveway, and this one kind of has some kind of a weird angle.
It does
in
look
relation
weird.
to 31. That's why
Looks tight to me, like.
it does. Typically, these lanes are 14 to 16 feet wide, though, so they're wider than a normal lane. And we did do maneuvers. The tanker truck can get in here. Again, with some mounting of this thing, they can get in here and circulate and get out of this driveway. So this more common panel trucks that deliver, those can easily get in and out of this.
Are all the deliveries going in and out of 31?
That was one of the things that I was going to address. As far as vendor, from the very beginning of the project, we will talk to vendors about, the goal would be for them to enter and exit off of 31. We're also even willing to place signage by the Hamlin Drive driveway, posting for vendors to make sure that they, no left turn for delivery vehicles. But the goal would be to encourage all of the traffic to enter and exit off of 31.
We really can't have a restriction only allowing access up at 31. One, it's hard to police, and it would potentially encourage a truck or whatever going up north and doing a U-turn someplace, leading to a south, and we don't want to encourage that. And so we can request that be done. We do that, but obviously we don't control all our vendors. And then you have situations where vendors subbing for a week or so for somebody and they just don't know and they're going to do it. So things like that can happen. So an outright prohibition on any access to Hamlin is can't have that because I don't think it's realistic to do that. And Hamlin's being designed to control that. Now, as we stated, a lot of these trucks are panel tech trucks, and that it's the semis with fuel and the pop and beer. And it's my understanding beer and pop about once a week for this come. So that's not a significant amount. It's not daily for those or anything like that. So it really depends on which way they're going, but we'd like them to go out that way, but we can't necessarily control that. And as far as was stated by Ryan, Hamlin's being beefed up, so it can stand in the traffic, so it's like that, trust me. But certainly we would encourage you to go out the other way, but we didn't want to be in a situation where we just can't force and control
Where are the underground storage tanks in relation to those pumps? Because you're going to be selling diesel here?
Correct. The tanks, they're shown right about there.
The diesel is, Scott, over to the far right?
That's right here. It's right there.
Okay.
And yeah, all the tanks are combined in one area, but then it's distributed to the dispensers.
I still have a couple of questions.
That's not tight for a semi to get through that and out and around?
No, part of the reason why is because this canopy height, it's about 20 feet under there. So actually the truck can encroach under here a little bit. They don't come during the peak times of customer traffic either, so they can circulate here. The tankers are not quite as big as a full tractor trailer, like the big, they're a little bit smaller than that, so they can maneuver a little bit easier. Okay. But they can circle around there.
Ms. Foreman, is one of your questions going to be about proximity of the fuel tanks to the daycare center?
It most definitely is that question. Guys, how close are the gas tanks to the daycare? And what kind of shielding, blocking, environmental things do you have in place to address that?
You refer to the underground storage tanks?
Yes, where the gasoline is going to be kept.
Just to the south of those.
Yeah.
The large canopy.
Can you put your pointer there? I love a visual aid.
They're approximately 300 feet
from the property
to the building, roughly.
The code for those underground storage tanks now are double wall, one steel, one fiberglass with sensors that pick up moisture and any leak detection. They're monitored ongoing 24 hours a day. We get automatic shutdown if there's any issues. Currently, for local stations that are out there today, they have single wall tanks. All of the piping has catch underneath that as well. And as soon as the dispenser is hung up, they automatically go into a scanning of, for any type of detection and whatnot. So our system, I think we've got a better shot of getting struck by lightning than having any type of a release currently. And that's the EPA requirements and, through the state fire marshal and things of that nature. So that's significantly important to us in our company. And we have not had any leaks or releases.
In any of your systems?
No.
And how often are the testers, the sensors serviced and maintained and making sure those are operational?
I believe.
I can answer that. There are regulations that the site manager has to do daily. We have a monthly inspection as well as lots of semi-annual and quarterly inspections that have to be done. There's also an annual one done through the state fire.
Is that is that information available to the public or?
In terms of leaks or?
No, just like, how often is it tested? What were the results?
Is that the state fire marshal that does those inspections?
I don't know if it's public, they're required to be submitted.
And then there's third party like Botanic, Stenstrom's, people of that nature that come out
I believe there's a couple full-time people, that's what they do.
Yeah.
The company has 2 people full-time, so that's what they do, going around the stations.
Do you have a slide of that underground, what all that stuff, because I know you,
Yeah, now that's not specific to daycare, I guess that's why my question, they do that everywhere.
right.
Yeah,
right.
so
But
there's nothing advanced.
quite a underground,
I think I do have a slide of that.
Yeah, there was one at the end.
So here's, so yeah, this is a typical system. So basically, a double-walled tank, fiberglass tank, there's sensors in the middle of this void area that detect moisture coming in or product coming out. There's sensors at these are the base of the fill ports, the check ports, the pump where it pumps it to the dispensers. There's sumps in every one of those and more sensors. The lines going to the dispensers from the tank to this pump itself, that's double walled with sensors in it to check again for moisture coming in or fuel product escaping. You get to the dispenser, there's a sump for that in case that were to any leak, and there's another sensor in that. I believe there's also the hoses will pull off. Somebody drives off, the hoses will break, and there's a quick shut off on those. There's a shut off on those. All of that is monitored 24/7 with a system that basically has direct access to multiple people in the corporation. They can tell them instantly if there's a problem, and then they got folks on staff that do nothing but go and correct any issues like that. So it's.
could we argue that you are more technologically advanced than some of the other gas stations?
Yes.
Okay.
And what size gallon tanks are these?
I believe they're 10,000 gallon these. Some of them are split into different products inside. I believe that's what they are, either 8 or 10.
10s and 8s.
Yeah.
Which there are other places that are larger.
Yeah.
15s, 12s,
20 and 30s would become common, especially like the big truck stops.
Right.
Based on the common see those.
I'm going to switch gears one last time and ask about employment.
I was going to touch on that.
You were going to touch on that?
So I could
We have a
probably
lot of
shore up a lot
teenagers in town that,
Yep.
do you typically
Yeah,
hire?
you want me to, I'd be more than happy to take you through just a quick zip here.
Touch on some of the non-engineering issues.
President Hederman, honorable trustees, and Skyhawk residents, my name is Clifton Morris, no relation to Trustee Morris, and I reside in Roscoe, Illinois. I'm a proud employee of Kelly Williamson Company and appreciate the opportunity to address our project and all the good it brings. I've broken this down in 4 segments to include company and project overview, workplace quality and training investment of our people, philanthropy, charitable and community involvement, and pride in our stores and cleanliness. From the company overview and project overview, Kelly Williamson Company is a family-owned business with regional presence looking to grow. Being a smaller regional-sized company allows for more adaptation and flexibility in local markets and becomes simpler to take pride in stores that are within an hour drive. Like Johnsburg celebrating their 70th year of incorporation in 2026, Kelly Williamson Company will be celebrating our 100th anniversary as a company in 2026. We are a third-generation business that is driven by our mission statement to provide the best customer buying experience in the industry. We are a convenience store with multiple offerings, including a restaurant, other food service offering, ice cream, coffee, grocery, fill-in shopping, pet supplies, car wash, gaming, and we do have fuel offering. All alternate profit centers are wanted by our customers and critical for our success. We are a one-stop shop for guests that demand fast, fresh, and friendly. We are committed with village approval to investing over $9 million in this project. No tax abatements, revenue sharing, incentives have been offered or sought through the village. We project the annual estimated sales tax revenue to Johnsburg will be between $500,000 and $600,000. Also, we project the annual Johnsburg property tax revenue to be between $50,000 and $70,000, and video gaming is expected to add another $30,000 to $35,000 in income. We would be proud to represent Johnsburg positively and be the gateway to the community. We look forward to adding to your hometown with spirit vision. From workplace quality and training investment of new hires Our new stores will create jobs for 30 to 40 Johnsburg residents, offering flexible work hours based on personal need. We provide above minimum wage for experience and always look at advancement from within. Full benefits are offered, including paid vacations, paid holidays, health, dental, and vision insurance. There is a 401k program with annual matching from Kelly Williams and Company. When the company does good, our employees do good. Focused training on day one for responsible selling of tobacco and alcohol with a zero tolerance policy for any failed stings. We have the community and our guests police us. If we fail to card any guest under the age of 40, we provide $10 cash on the spot. This is the most stringent policy in the industry. Charitable and community involvement. Philanthropy is important to our company. For example, Kelly Williams and Company is the presenting sponsor of Making Strides, which is breast cancer awareness through our partnership with the American Cancer Society. Our involvement stretches over the last 2 decades. Other charitable contributions include the following organizations. Rosecrans, and this is an adolescent and adult addiction treatment and recovery facility, and they also work with veterans who are experiencing PTSD. Vets Roll, supporting our veterans. Nick's Wish, which they grant young adults their wish who are stricken with terminal cancer. Carpenter's Place, support center that helps rebuild the lives of the homeless. Special Olympics, St. Jude's, Boys and Girls Club. RAMP, which encourages folks with disabilities to be full participants in society without limitations. Goldie Floberg, it helps individuals with intellectual development disabilities build and live the lives they choose as active members in their community. Youth Services Network, which is the development and support of youth. They focus on emotional or mental health concerns, pregnant or parenting, runaway or homeless, victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, and domestic violence, delinquent behaviors, truancy or school concerns, developmental delays and or disabilities. And then ongoing, we have annual local community sponsorships that are all considered. So we believe in giving back. When we do good, the communities do good. Cleanliness. Kelly Williams and Company has the highest average cleanliness scores for all mobile branded stores in the United States. Keep in mind there's over 12,000 stores branded mobile in the United States. We average 97.5% over 100 stores that we own and supply. Scoring areas include exterior cleanliness, which are customer touch points, interior cleanliness, restrooms, and operability. Our 52 company-operated stores average 99.2%, which is over 10% higher than the U.S. average. We provide restrooms that moms and dads do not have to worry about taking their kids into, or any guests who need to use our facilities. As a company, we know how important this is to us as we travel, so we know how important it is to our guests. We have our own maintenance and cleaning crew to support our stores. This is above and beyond the shift, daily, weekly, and monthly duties of our staff. Our facility will have a maintenance person who solely focuses on the cleanliness of the location. I want to thank you for allowing me the quick time to provide insight and information about this project, and we are certainly eager to be a part of the Johnsburg community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other questions?
The which, and there's no drive-throughs or anything like that?
No.
It's walk-in?
Yes, sir. The only thing I'll add to what this gentleman just said, there's 2 of them in Belvedere. I frequent them both. And as far as the cleanliness, the way they look, the appearance, I think you won't find any gas station store that is up to that par. I mean, they really do a nice operation. You know, the rest of the stuff, I know we all have to consider everybody's concerns, but as far as his statements, I'll vouch for it. They're a really nice operation.
I have one other question.
Before we leave tonight, I just want you all to consider, I think, a logical conclusion for all of the safety and traffic and the congestion problems that we're talking about here. It isn't about the business and how it looks and how it operates. That's fine. The business plan is fine. It's just the location. I would like everybody to reconsider possibly moving this just a few hundred feet north of the Johnsburg Road intersection, going up, and like I said, the Krista property is vacant, and there is room there. I think that would be a better location, right on Route 31. Thank you very much.
Quick question on the storm runoff. Where was that going to go? I mean, because you're getting rid of all the grass where the water would just drain into. I mean, it's got to run off somewhere. Well, they said it wouldn't, so
I can get back there. Here we go. Sorry. Took the scenic route.
I think you were talking underground.
Retention? Yeah, so essentially, all of the runoff here, most of it flows on our site specifically from north to south here and collected in a series of catch basins and inlets into an underground system that's right about here. We'll have some more inlets probably on Hamlin.
Are you talking like a storm trap?
It'd be correct. It'd be a concrete vault system underground.
How much water can that store? What if we have a 100-year rainstorm?
Typically, that's what we'd be able to contain. I forget what the exact requirements are, but typically it's a certain duration of a 100 year.
And then how long does it take to percolate back? Because we do have our city. Ultimately, it's going to percolate into the...
It'd be an outlet into the city system, which I think that has in the storm sewer, but it'd be restricted. And typically, it's within 24 to 48 hours they drain down, so it's quite some time. But
Tim, do you elaborate on that a little bit? I mean, the underground storage systems, they're used.
Detention, it's sized per the McHenry County ordinance, which we adopt and enforce as a certified community. They know the rules, they know the capacity that's needed, the volumes. I don't see an issue with stormwater because they're not going to get past our reviews without meeting or exceeding the ordinance. It then discharges at a restricted release rate into the ditch along Johnsburg Road, and it makes its way under Johnsburg Road, and it gets into the workforce housing development, which they accommodated for the area all the way up to Kenny's Flooring, and then it makes its way around the bowling alley, back into the Route 31 ditch and hits the creek just past our public works facility.
But the question of best 100-year event, isn't that like the standard that you
They have to attain the volume of a 100-year event, yes. And then they have to release it as if it was an undeveloped site in existing condition. So that's why the size and shape has to be able to handle that, and then over 24 hours it gets slowly discharging, so it simulates what's out there today.
And the Dutch Creek watershed, is that a concern?
I'm sorry.
Would it flow that way?
Looks like there's an L. Is there an elevation difference between the gas station and the home?
Yeah, not to the east. The Dutch Creek watershed is to the east.
Tim just addressed that.
Yeah.
That property discharges
no,
out to the
shouldn't.
Hamlin ditch.
With the gas station.
It discharges out to the Hamlin ditch, and if some of it comes through towards a gas station, they have to acknowledge that, and they cannot block it. Illinois drainage law doesn't allow them to block. If they put up a wall, they still have to acknowledge if some drainage comes from ICANN or that residence.
That's what I was wondering. I thought there was a retaining wall. My concern was water backing up and flooding potentially the basements of the houses there. Because they can't keep flowing.
We won't allow it, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I just
No, it's a good point. Thank you.
Sir, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name when you were giving our presentation. You had said that the sales tax revenue was between $500,000 and $600,000 a year. Was that to the village or that is total?
To the village.
Yeah, that, what is our rate, 1%? Yeah. We collect 1%?
Yeah, that's too high. So like Walmart's at 1.4 million. It's too high. I'm just giving my numbers. I run finance, sorry, it's too high. I'd have to look at that. That's off of the gas sales tax. I'd have to look at all that. That's $50
I think that traffic, the answer to the traffic, in my opinion, that traffic is there. I mean, that's on, it's not.
Whether it goes there or not.
Yeah, if they turn there or not and go into that gas station, the amount of traffic is there already. It's not going to change. I don't believe, I could be totally wrong, but, I mean, that traffic that's on that road and on Route 31 is there. I don't think it's going to create more traffic.
Can I just ask the folks, and I know you've come, and you've come again, and you keep coming to the meeting, so I know you're passionate about this. Is there any upside to this at all? You guys can't see any benefit to having this in your neighborhood?
I think, fortunately, I think the situation is, I mean, we're more, I think, directly impacted versus other Johnsburgers, right?
Say that one more time, say it one more time.
I said, I think us in the neighborhood are more directly impacted by this than other Johnsburgers, right? You know, we can all say we're there, but we're the ones that have to come in and out of it every day. A lot of us have been in that neighborhood for many, many years, and, you know, all of us can attest that we've seen changes, right? We all remember when 31 used to be just 2 lanes. Right. You know, we all kind of remember before some of the stores. And I think there's some of that concern. The concern of being able to sell a house. And eventually, at some point, we all will have to. And I think that impacts us more. We heard it earlier about, you know, real estate values and so forth in the neighborhood. And we're the ones more directly impacted by that than others in Johnsburg, right? Others in Johnsburg can get around, and hey, if it's backed up, I've got 5 or 6 different ways to get around that. We get stuck, right? We've got 2 ways to get out, and that's it. So I think that's why it's a little more heartfelt.
But do you think, I can feel it, I can sense it, but do you think it's finite? Do you think that traffic is always going to be
It's gotten worse since Walmart came in. It's gotten
No,
so,
but I think-
Walmart came in and made it a headache.
There is no perfect development anywhere,
You're absolutely right.
right? And I'd hate to think that we're handcuffed on this intersection because it's so important to the growth of our town. The SWOT analysis, business people, we want our growth there. We don't want it to impact neighborhoods in any stretch. But we all are feeling that impact. I live off Johnsburg Road by the downtown mobile.
Yeah.
Which we love our downtown mobile. I love being 1 block from that mobile. It's in a residential neighborhood. And I can't believe that none of you think that there's not going to be a little bit of a benefit to anybody if it's not for job. Do you hire retired people, by the way?
Absolutely.
I mean, with benefits, it's like, how can this not be beneficial?
I think as we look at it for the long term, though, right, and I don't disagree with what Kelly's doing there. It's another gas station that's been there for many, many years, and they're going to shut it down.
They're going to close.
They're going to kill it. And here's why I say that, is because, as I understand, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, the owner of that gas station also owns the one in Spring Grove. Right.
Which one?
As I understand, there's a lot
Oh, the marathon on Spring Grove.
Yeah, right by the Walgreens. And recently they put another nicer gas station, I think it's a Casey's, whatever. That owner didn't make any changes to it. It still looks horrendous, right? I've 31 years, I've never stepped foot in the Citgo right here because it's horrendous. So it's going to get shut down. And so I guess for some of us...
Citgo is right here, sir.
Yeah.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. Or whatever it is, whatever the gas station is there.
Marathon.
I just want to make sure we're talking about
The gas station that's been there for ages by the new housing, and it's going to get empty, right? They're going to get. I don't see that owner investing in that business to spruce it up.
But it's still a valuable corner to our village.
Yeah.
It
But
really
it's-
is so valuable.
Yeah, but my concern is we've all seen it, right? We all remember the Cup Foods of years ago, right? And as progression moved up 31, but what we've also seen over progression is all businesses that are no longer there. We got a lot of empty buildings. And the concern for some is as we keep going north, are we going to end up with another empty gas station?
Do now I'm listening to your point about 2 gas stations right there, okay?
Yeah.
If I go Chapel Hill Road, down to 120, there was a Shell there forever, right?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Well, not forever, but the same,
Yeah, by the chocolate
distance
factory.
in and out. And they just built a huge Thornton right next to it. Now, when I go by there, both those gas stations are still busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hear
seem to be
any
come up
question
in
about the
pairs.
Shell shutting down or the Thorntons. And I think this is a very similar situation.
And sir,
I mean,
to your
there's a
point,
lot of
too,
places where
we only have, it's a finite number of parcels we have on 31.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to keep everything big up that way. And we have a Penny's that's empty right now, to the chagrin of everyone sitting here, I'm sure in this whole audience. So we're limited on what we have, and we have to be right on we don't have 8 miles of Route 31, we can just put this, and I know you say, why don't they just go up the road a mile and just put it, it's not always that easy though. They're looking at corners. They're like Walgreens, they're CVS, they want corners. And we have to be right as a board to get the people, because we only have so much. We can't put anything out there because it's indefinite. We only have so much.
I mean, it's almost like a no-win situation sometimes. It's not easy. It's not an easy.
It's not
easy. And I don't like putting you people through some of
No,
this.
we know you're passionate.
If they're going to put the gas station there, what are they going to do for the residents as far as, they talk about a sidewalk that goes nowhere,
But here's the thing, we want you to be part of the
Sorry,
conversation. We don't want you mad at us.
No, that's
We
what I'm
want
saying.
we're partners.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. is
So let's,
They're already
we're
doing the
listening.
sidewalks there, why can't they help beautify the neighborhood? If you want this to be the gateway
in
into our
streetlights.
town, we have hardly any streetlights in our neighborhood. We don't have any sidewalks. It's more of a safety concern for me. And the traffic, it's gonna keep increasing. We keep building new houses and new developments are coming in. So the traffic,
And that's my point.
Mr. Hutterman, that the traffic is not the same. It is
Well, we
getting
know
worse.
I live off of Johnsburg Road too, so it's increased over the years. And
Exactly.
the roundabout has changed the traffic flow and all of that.
So until they can do something that's going to, help the neighborhood and not just that corner, because as soon as
Tell
they
me the
can
top
talk
3
about
things
those
you would like in
Yeah,
the
let's hear
neighborhood
it.
right now.
What's
Right
the
now,
top
what would
3?
you say?
Top 3 things in our neighborhood?
Yeah, what would you
Better
want?
streets, sidewalks, and lighting.
We all want better streets.
Well, you asked, I just told you.
No, that's
What
what,
lighting?
that's where we're
They-
open.
when
We
they-
usually don't sit here and talk about this open.
Yeah.
Right, when
That's
they
a
did
zoning thing.
construction across the street, they demolished our road.
That road is going to be completely
That- yeah.
reconstructed.
No, I
by the
understand
gas
that.
And that's gonna be a benefit.
And just to address the sidewalks, any development we
As far
do,
as like going back
any
to like-
development we do,
1 second.
we have the sidewalks, okay? Maybe they go to nowhere, but eventually they will go farther and farther down. We started, if you notice at the Village Hall, as this developed, the sidewalk came down. It was never here, okay? On Johnsburg Road, those sidewalks were never there. Now they're there. But when
Our
you
grandkids.
develop, no matter what you develop, you usually put sidewalks there. That is just a policy of the village. Whether they go to nowhere, because eventually, as they go down 31 and near property like at Christoph's and all that develop, we would like to have those sidewalks. We have put in all kinds of sidewalks for safe routes to schools and different things. So
And I
we're
understand that.
constantly working on sidewalks. So when a developer develops, we want them to do the sidewalks.
No, I'm not
Because
saying they shouldn't do it, I'm just saying they go
eventually we're going to
nowhere.
hook those sidewalks up to
Right.
something.
There will be a connection.
But
There will be.
here's the other thing too, is, and shame on me, but I'm gonna say it anyways, you want your grandkids or kids living in a neighborhood that has a convenience store with no lighting, no streets, sidewalks to be roaming around,
Well,
the
I
people
live in
at the
that
housing, those kids are gonna get off the bus and they're gonna,
But
their
I'll tell
parents
you
are
what.
working,
I,
they're gonna wanna
My
walk.
kids loved to ride their bike when they were little up to the mobile.
Yeah,
And
but
again, I live in a
traffic
neighborhood,
wasn't what it is
they had
today,
to
though.
cross Chapel Hill,
Johnsburg Road.
But I think one of the things that we kind of miss a little bit is why did we move to Johnsburg, right? We all enjoy it because you come out to the country. I think a lot of us don't mind dealing with the farmer's tractors. I mean, I live next door to the cornfield. I'm battling the chipmunks, the mice, and I got the coyotes coming in. We enjoy it, and I think unfortunately when we start bringing in, we talked earlier about the gas station being 24 hours. I am glad to hear that they're willing to adjust those hours. But being 24 hours and have that noise, we heard that there was a gentleman on Saturday, he travels over an hour each way to come home and to work. And to come home and just sit on your
I know
porch
those guys.
and, just relax
You're
and
one
be
of them.
quiet, right? And just, that's why we came out here, is to get away from that.
Is this
type of
gas station
environment.
really going to change that for you, sir?
Well, I think with the light noise that you're gonna get, it's not
The
indirect,
light-
it's still gonna light up.
the lights.
We enjoy.
But that
I
might
think
help the
some of us-
neighborhood darkness.
Yeah, but wait, you want lights and you don't want lights? Oh,
I don't want
Street lights.
no lights.
We want street lights. There's
Okay,
something.
but that's
I
light,
think
I mean, you're gonna have light.
But
Well,
let's
streetlights
talk
are
about
lower-
that. How much
a lower
light are
density
they
light than
gonna
what they're gonna put in with the LEDs. They're gonna light up the neighborhood.
They will
Are
not.
they?
No, they won't.
They
They
can't.
don't do that. That's all
Architectural
changed.
review.
How they can
We will not allow that.
But the ability just to sit on your porch,
I've
right,
seen
enjoy the trust and quiet. The country that we came out to is the reason we moved down here. And I think, unfortunately, moving the gas station 24/7 with the increased traffic that comes in versus just passing by.
Maybe.
And some of the lights.
We're gonna wait to hear about the study before.
Well, I would think,
Let's not
if they're
jump
taking the
there.
time to invest this much into it, I know they've got the numbers to say, yeah,
Right.
let's pull it.
Can I just hear from you? You've been trying to say something.
That's okay. So getting back to traffic, I think we're also all forgetting, but the apartments, there's what, 149 apartments right across from.
I don't think
How
there's that
many?
many.
No.
Not that many.
No, it was 49.
49.
I'm sorry, somebody actually told me 149.
No, it's
Okay, so 49 apartments. There are 49 apartments in there. How many cars are going to be coming out there? And you are basically directly across from Hamlin. They are now all going to be making that right turn.
We don't want them to go to Hamlin. That pork chop
Right, we don't want them to
is set up.
But what I'm saying
I
is.
don't know how they're getting into your
They're not
neighborhood.
going to be making right turns. If they make a right turn, they're going to go into Cherokee, make a U-turn, and then we still can't get off Hamlin because now we're waiting for them to make a right turn, to make a U-turn, so that we still can't go on.
Sounds like ticketing
Even like
opportunities
on
for
31, if
police.
they
Those
don't
like,
make a
uh,
right
There's never
turn
anyone
on
there to do it.
31,
Those are enforcement issues, and those will be addressed, okay? So we,
Okay, even now, you know,
I'm gonna
like,
be
there's a
in
sign
Solution.
saying that, you know, do not block the intersection.
She got that for us.
I can't tell you how many times, because I come home on Johnsburg Road and trying to make a right turn onto Hamlin, and it's
Okay.
blocked.
Thank you, thank you. One other person. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Can I mention something
no,
about
don't be
the lights?
sorry.
Just for a second? Can I mention something about the lights?
Yeah.
Just so you know, when the marathon's open at night, the lights are on. When they shut their lights off, it's quiet, it's dark, it's not a problem. So, I mean, I'm not sure what time they close, I think it's 10 or whatever, but there's a big difference when they shut their lights down. I mean, you gotta remember, I'm gonna live less than a block from them. I'm on the corner of Grant and Hamlin.
There's a big difference, sir, with the technology and the lighting that we require for all these stations now. That station has probably been there, what, 25 years, 30 years? Well over 30 years.
We did all that.
Where all these requirements that the light can't go onto other people's property, that wasn't there, that wasn't required then. Now, these lights have to be everything. Even here at the Village Hall, if you go outside, you'll see that the lights don't project onto other people's property. They don't project across the road. Those are all requirements that are required now that weren't required 35, 40 years ago. It's completely different, okay? So I agree with you that when the lights get shut off at Marathon, there's probably a big difference, but that was then and this is now. So I think the lighting part of it is not a concern as you may think it is, because we require that lighting can't project. And if you walk out here on the parking lot where all the lights are lit, you'll see that the parking lot's lit up, but it's not projecting on any of the neighbors. That's a requirement now that the village enforces. So there is a big difference, that's all I want to say, than something that was built 50 years ago.
The canopy lights are a very small LED eyebrow, is what it is. It's an eyebrow at the top of the canopy that shields that, and it deflects off of 2D on the canopy. The neighbor that would be across the street from us either potentially could have fluorescent or anything that isn't of the modern variety. I mean, our goal isn't to intrude into homes. Our goal is to have a safe environment for the guests that use our facility. It's critically important. It's important to you guys, it's important to us. And we'll adhere to the requirements of the village and ensure that we share all of that with you.
This gal back here has. She's been patient.
Just pointing out that if we all know this, we're saying that we're the gateway to Wisconsin. Anyone who's actually traveling to Wisconsin, you're going to wait till you get to Wisconsin to fuel. It's roughly 20 cents cheaper, and you're not paying tax on food. Where they have diesel fuel pumps, you're enticing rock jockeys to pull in there to fuel up the rock jockeys. So the 8-wheel trucks to pull in there to fuel up their trucks.
I didn't know that
That's
was a
what they
thing.
call them, because of the diesel pumps and where they're set.
You know, I would just like to comment on, that people go to Wisconsin to buy, everybody in Wisconsin goes to Wisconsin to buy food. I invite any of you, and I drive around the village a lot to see what's going on, from the restaurants, the taverns, things that visualizing what we may have. But you can go to Walmart, probably right now. I forget what time they close, but I don't know how late it is, but I can tell you it's getting later. But there's a ton of Wisconsin cars at our Walmart.
So they work there?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
They work there.
I don't know.
They come from Wisconsin and Illinois to get a job.
Maybe you're right.
Or they have a piece of
Maybe you're
property
right.
that they have the plate tagged at.
No, I
because
think they
want
shop
to pay
there.
for it.
I believe they shop there. I'm not going to disagree that some of them may work.
May I also ask, I'm sorry, I did not hear where the owners lived.
We're in the Rockford area, I believe.
You live in the Rockford area. How often will you be back here to Johnsburg to check on this property?
I am the operations manager for the site. I'm there once a week, once every 2 weeks. We will have a station manager that will be on duty. We also have a district manager that lives about, she's there at least once a week as well. And in most cases, 2 or 3 times a week, the young lady that oversees. And she lives just not far, right in the Pingree Grove area.
I don't live in the subdivision, but I came here to support for all the other residents that don't want the gas station there. I don't think that it's an issue of having a business there, but it's the 24-hour gas station. Myself, I'm concerned about the neighbors, and then, of course, the daycare center, and it doesn't really fit the look and feel of Johnsburg's hometown image. So my preference is to have something else there, not a gas station. We have enough. We don't need another gas station. I understand it's for the income. It's a business zone.
But it's a different product. I think it's a different product than
I don't know
what we
anyone that would
currently
drive
have.
across town to go on the outskirts of town north for a convenience store.
Unless it was Buc-ee's.
Or for a sandwich, we're gonna go to someplace down
Hey, Which has a cult following. Do you have kids that are there in their teens and 20s? They go crazy over Which. I'm just
What about
saying.
an outlot by the pennies?
Pardon me?
The outlot by the penny store?
There is an outlet there.
Would that be a good place for a gas station?
Oh, no. Okay, there isn't. I thought we were.
You have to go to Chase Bank.
Oh, okay, where Chase Bank is.
So you could take that whole stretch.
So that would be an
Okay.
ideal
Thank you
place.
guys
Do you have any other
for sharing
questions,
all of your,
Scotty?
we appreciate it.
Greg?
No,
No. Mr. Morris? Okay. Thank you for coming, and thank you for presenting. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Foreman, seconded by trustee Hagan. On the roll, trustee Morris. Trustee Hagan. Trustee Plumstein. Trustee Foreman.
Aye.
And trustee. Motion carried.
Yeah, basically.